I was 23 when I met Jessica in our university economics class. For 4 years, we built what I thought was the perfect relationship. We moved in together, supported each other's dreams, and planned our future. I even saved for an engagement ring despite struggling financially. Then suddenly she left me for Andrew, a man her family deemed more suitable. With his prestigious background and wealth, the heartbreak nearly destroyed me. Fast forward 2 years, I now run a successful tech company and found my true soulmate, Sophia. Yesterday, at an industry gala, I saw Jessica for the first time staring at my happiness with unmistakable regret in her eyes. If you've ever felt the sting of betrayal but found happiness later, let me know where you're watching from. Hit like and subscribe as I share how life can surprise you with better plans after heartbreak. I still remember the exact moment I first noticed Jessica. It was during our third economics lecture of the semester. She asked a question that challenged our professor's point about market elasticity. Her confidence caught my attention immediately. When class ended, I gathered enough courage to introduce myself as we packed our books. "That was a great question. I never thought about it that way," I said, trying to sound casual. She smiled and introduced herself. "I am Jessica Kim. Economics is not even my major, but I find it fascinating." We started meeting for study sessions at the library. Those sessions quickly became the highlight of my week. Jessica was brilliant, ambitious, and surprisingly easy to talk to. Despite coming from a family with serious money, my background was solidly middle class. Mom was a nurse, and Dad managed a hardware store. They had worked hard to put me through college, unlike Jessica's surgeon father and corporate lawyer mother, who paid her tuition without a second thought. Our first real date happened during finals week at a small coffee shop just off campus. I was nervous and spilled coffee on my notes. Instead of being embarrassed, Jessica laughed and helped me clean up. That night we talked until the shop closed. We kissed for the first time under the streetlights as snow began to fall. It felt like a scene from a movie. After graduation, our relationship grew stronger. We moved into a small apartment together. Jessica took a position at a marketing firm, while I worked entry-level at a tech company, dreaming of starting my own business someday. Our lives meshed well together. Sunday morning, pancake breakfasts. Evening walks in the park. Weekend trips to the coast. We created traditions and built our own little world. I was saving every penny I could for an engagement ring. It sat in my drawer in a small velvet box, waiting for the perfect moment. I planned to propose on our upcoming trip to Maine at sunset on the same beach where we had spent our first vacation together. I thought we were heading toward forever. The first signs of trouble were subtle. Jessica started bringing me to more family functions where I always felt slightly out of place. Her parents were polite but distant. They asked about my career plans with barely hidden skepticism. Her father once took me aside at their 4th of July barbecue. "Ryan, what exactly are your long-term goals?" Jessica has certain expectations for her lifestyle. Her mother and I want to ensure she maintains the standard of living she is accustomed to. I explained my entrepreneurial dreams, which he dismissed with a tight smile and a comment about the high failure rate of startups. I should have recognized the warning signs, but love made me blind. I believe Jessica and I were a team facing the world together regardless of her family's opinions. Then came Andrew. He appeared at a dinner party at Jessica's parents' house. Tall, polished, with an Ivy League education and family connections that stretched back generations. He was introduced as a family friend, but the way Jessica's mother beamed at him told a different story. Throughout dinner, they discussed mutual acquaintances and exclusive clubs I knew nothing about. Andrew just made partner at his father's investment firm, Jessica's mother announced proudly. And he just purchased that beautiful colonial on Maple Street. I noticed how Jessica smiled at the news, how she engaged effortlessly in their world of privilege. For the first time, I felt truly out of place beside her. On the drive home, Jessica mentioned casually how she had known Andrew since childhood. Their families had vacationed together in the Hamptons. When I asked why she never mentioned him before, she shrugged it off as unimportant. After that, Andrew showed up more frequently. At family gatherings. at charity events we attended, even at a restaurant where Jessica and I were celebrating our anniversary. Each time he was charming and friendly on the surface, but I caught the evaluating looks, the subtle reminders of what he could offer that I could not. Our last happy day together was a simple one. A picnic at the park, nothing fancy. Jessica seemed present and engaged, laughing at my jokes and discussing plans for Christmas. I had no idea it would be our last good memory. A week later, Jessica sat me down in our living room. Her face was composed in a way that instantly sent chills down my spine. "We need to talk, Ryan," she said, her voice eerily calm. "I have been doing a lot of thinking about our future." I waited, heart pounding, as she explained how she had come to realize we wanted different things, how her family had always expected her to follow a certain path, how Andrew represented the kind of stability and social standing she had grown up with. "He understands my world in ways you cannot," she said. "It is nothing personal. It is just practical. We come from different backgrounds, want different things." The shock left me speechless at first. When I found my voice, I reminded her of our 4 years together, our plans, our love. I asked about the trips we had planned, the future we had mapped out together. Jessica looked at me with something like pity. "Those were nice dreams, Ryan. But I need to be realistic. My family has certain expectations. Andrew can provide the kind of life I was raised to expect." "So this is about money?" I asked, anger finally breaking through the shock. "Not just money. It is about fitting into each other's worlds completely. You would never be truly comfortable in mine, and I am not suited for the uncertain path you want to take." She stood up, already packed. "You will thank me someday. We want different things." And just like that, she was gone. 4 years erased with clinical precision. The apartment felt cavernous without her presence. I moved through the following days in a haze of disbelief and pain. I could not sleep. Food lost its taste. The engagement ring in my drawer mocked me with its promises of a future now shattered. I made the mistake of checking social media. Just 2 weeks after our breakup there, she was with Andrew at a gallery, opening his arm possessively around her waist. She looked happy, untroubled by the destruction she had left behind. Each new photo was a fresh knife in my heart, yet I could not stop looking. My friends tried to help. They invited me out, offered places to stay, brought food when I forgot to eat. But nothing touched the hollow feeling inside. The worst moment came when I had to cancel the reservation for our main trip, explaining to the sympathetic bed and breakfast owner that there would not be a proposal after all. One night, after too many whiskeys, I called Jessica. It was a mistake. Her voice was cold, annoyed at the interruption. "Ryan, it is midnight. What do you want?" "I want to understand how 4 years meant nothing to you," I slurred. "You are drunk. This is exactly why we could not work. You need to move on." She hung up before I could respond. The weeks that followed were the darkest of my life. I drowned myself in work during the day and alcohol at night. I avoided friends and family, unwilling to face their pity. In a misguided attempt to move on, I asked out Megan, a new employee at my company. Our one date was a disaster. I spent most of the time checking my phone, hoping irrationally for a message from Jessica. Megan deserved better than to be a distraction from my pain. The bottom came 3 months after the breakup. A mutual friend, unaware of how raw my feelings still were, invited me to a housewarming party. I arrived late, hoping to make a quick appearance and leave. Instead, I walked straight into Jessica and Andrew, now openly a couple. "Ryan, so good to see you," Jessica said, her voice carrying across the room. She pulled Andrew forward. "You remember Andrew, right? We just got engaged last weekend. 3 months. It took her just 3 months to commit to a lifetime with someone else after discarding our 4 years together." I smiled mechanically, congratulated them, and escaped to the bathroom, where I barely made it to the toilet before throwing up. My friend Jake found me there, pale and shaking. That night, after getting me home safely, Jake delivered the wake-up call I needed. "This has got to stop, man. You are letting her destroy you twice. First by leaving, and now by giving her this power over your happiness." His words cut through my fog of misery. I looked around at my apartment, at the unwashed dishes and empty bottles, at what I had become. "I do not know how to stop feeling this way," I admitted. "Start by deciding who you want to be. The guy who fell apart because a woman left him, or the guy who used this as fuel to become something better?" That night marked my turning point. I did not heal immediately, but I made a promise to myself: I will not let her decision define my future. The next morning, I deleted all social media connections to Jessica and her circle. I blocked her number. I cleaned my apartment and threw away the engagement ring. It was time to rebuild. I needed a complete fresh start. I found a small studio apartment across town and moved in with just the essentials. The place was barely large enough for a bed and desk, but it represented my new beginning. I set up a makeshift home office in the corner with my laptop and a whiteboard ready to give my entrepreneurial dreams a real shot. The business idea had been percolating in my mind for years: software that helped small businesses manage customer relationships without the complexity and cost of enterprise systems. I spent nights and weekends developing a business plan fueled by instant noodles and determination. Cold calling potential investors was humbling. For every 20 calls, 19 were rejections. Some polite, others brutally dismissive. Too crowded a market. Not innovative enough. Too risky. Without an established track record. But all I needed was one yes. It came from Linda Thompson, a venture capitalist who had built her own tech company from nothing before selling it for millions. "Your passion reminds me of myself. 20 years ago," she said, after I pitched my idea. "I will give you seed funding, but you will earn every penny of it." With Linda's investment, I rented a small office space and hired 2 developers who believed in the vision enough to accept below-market salaries in exchange for equity. We worked 18-hour days solving problems, refining features, and creating something we believed in. During this time, I also rebuilt myself. I established a morning routine of running and weight training. I joined a business book club to expand my knowledge. I even started therapy to process the relationship trauma properly. Slowly, the pain began to fade, replaced by focus and purpose. 6 months of relentless work later, we launched our product at a regional tech conference. The night before, I barely slept, convinced we would fail publicly. Instead, we signed 10 clients that first day. A tech blogger in attendance wrote a glowing review that got picked up by larger publications. By the end of the first month, we had exceeded our 6-month projections. For the first time since Jessica left, I felt genuine pride. Not the desperate need to prove her wrong, but satisfaction in creating something valuable on my own terms. My company grew steadily. We moved to larger offices, hired more staff, expanded our product line. Each milestone healed another piece of my broken confidence. It was at an industry conference in Chicago that I met Sophia. I noticed her during a panel discussion, asking insightful questions that challenged the speaker's assumptions. She approached me afterward, having recognized our company name from her research on emerging players in the field. "Your approach to user experience is interesting," she said, introducing herself as the founder of a complementary service in the marketing automation space. "I would love to discuss potential integration possibilities if you have time." What started as a business conversation over coffee extended into dinner as we discovered shared visions about technology and business ethics. Sophia was brilliant, driven, and refreshingly straightforward. She had built her company from scratch after leaving a toxic corporate environment. Her resilience impressed me as much as her intelligence. We exchanged contact information, promising to explore business collaboration opportunities. Over the following weeks, we scheduled video calls to discuss potential product integrations. Each conversation flowed easily from business to personal interests. I found myself looking forward to our calls, rearranging my schedule to make time for them. 3 months after our first meeting, Sophia visited our office for a formal partnership discussion. After a productive day of meetings, I offered to show her around the city. As we walked along the riverfront at sunset, I realized I felt something I had not experienced since before Jessica. Genuine connection, without anxiety or insecurity. Still, I hesitated to act on my growing feelings. The memory of betrayal made me cautious. During her next visit, I confessed my reservations over dinner. I like you, Sophia. But my last relationship ended badly, and I am still working through some trust issues. Her response was characteristically straightforward. Everyone has history, Ryan. I appreciate your honesty. How about we take things slowly and see where it leads? No pressure, just possibility. That approach allowed our relationship to develop organically. We maintained our business collaboration while gradually spending more time together personally. Sophia never pushed for more than I was ready to give, and that patience helped me lower my defenses. 6 months into knowing each other, we officially began dating. 1 year after meeting, we decided to merge our companies, creating a more comprehensive solution for our clients. Our professional and personal lives intertwined in the most natural way. With Sophia, I learned what a truly equal partnership felt like. She celebrated my successes without competition and supported me during setbacks without judgment. The contrast with my relationship with Jessica became increasingly clear. What I had mistaken for love had been wrapped in insecurity and inequality. With Sophia, I never questioned my place or worth. We built each other up rather than measuring against external expectations. Our company continued to thrive. We expanded internationally, opened offices in 3 cities, and were featured in business publications as rising stars in the industry. When we won a prestigious innovation award, it felt like validation of not just our business model but the values we stood for. For the first time since Jessica's betrayal, I felt truly whole. I had rebuilt my career on my own terms. I had found someone who loved me for exactly who I was. The pain that once consumed me had transformed into wisdom and gratitude for where life had led me. The industry gala was held at the Grand Plaza Hotel, an elegant venue with crystal chandeliers and marble floors. As a recipient of the Technology Innovator Award, I arrived feeling confident in my custom-tailored suit with Sophia beside me in a stunning blue gown. We were seated at a prominent table near the stage, enjoying the evening and networking with industry leaders. It was during the cocktail hour that I saw her. Jessica stood across the room in an expensive designer dress, her arm linked with Andrew's. She had not seen me yet engaged in conversation with another couple. The sight of her no longer triggered pain. Instead, I felt a strange detachment, as if looking at a photograph from someone else's life. When our eyes finally met, her expression froze. She whispered something to Andrew and adjusted her posture, straightening her spine and putting on a bright smile. I simply nodded politely and turned my attention back to Sophia, who had noticed the exchange. "Ex-girlfriend?" she asked quietly. "Yes. First time seeing her since we broke up 2 years ago." Sophia squeezed my hand. "You okay?" "Surprisingly, yes," I replied, realizing it was true. "Actually, I am great." Throughout dinner, I caught Jessica glancing at our table repeatedly. When the awards ceremony began and I was called to the stage to receive my recognition, I spoke about perseverance, innovation, and the importance of authentic partnerships. From the podium, I could see Jessica watching intently while Andrew checked his phone under the table. After the ceremony, as we mingled with other guests, Jessica maneuvered her way to our table. Her approach was deliberately casual, as if running into me was a pleasant surprise rather than a calculated move. "Ryan, what a wonderful surprise. Congratulations on your award." I introduced her to Sophia. "Jessica, this is Sophia Martinez, my partner in business and in life." Jessica's smile tightened as she shook Sophia's hand. "How lovely. And what do you do, Sophia?" As Sophia explained her background and role in our company, I noticed how Jessica's gaze kept darting between us, assessing. She mentioned Andrew with a subtle eye roll. "He is over there networking. Always working, you know how investment bankers are, never really present." The conversation became increasingly uncomfortable as Jessica found ways to reference our past. "Ryan always talked about starting a business when we were together. I am glad it worked out for you. Our apartment was so small I cannot imagine you worked from there initially." "That was a lifetime ago," I replied neutrally. Things have changed considerably. Throughout the exchange, Andrew remained across the room. At one point, he glanced over with obvious annoyance before making an excuse to leave early, claiming an early morning meeting. Jessica stayed behind, her smile faltering as he departed. Later in the evening, while Sophia was speaking with a potential client, Jessica approached me at the bar. "You look good, Ryan. Success suits you." Her voice had softened, becoming reminiscent of our early days together. "Thank you. You seem to be doing well too." She laughed without humor. Appearances can be deceiving. Things with Andrew are not exactly as perfect as they look. When I did not take the bait, she continued, "His family is even more controlling than mine. Everything must be done their way. The right house in the right neighborhood. The right vacations with the right people. Sometimes I feel like I cannot breathe." I am sorry to hear that, I said, genuinely meaning it. No one deserves to be unhappy, even someone who caused me pain. Jessica moved closer, lowering her voice. "I made a terrible mistake, Ryan. I chose security over happiness. Andrew looks perfect on paper, but there is no real connection. Not like what we had." I felt a momentary pull of nostalgia, quickly replaced by clarity. The woman before me was not offering genuine regret, but seeking validation that she still held power over me. "We should catch up privately sometime," she suggested, her hand lightly touching my arm. "For closure, if nothing else." 2 years ago, this moment might have vindicated me. Now it simply revealed how differently we viewed relationships. To Jessica, people were interchangeable, based on what they could provide. To me, especially now, a relationship meant partnership, mutual growth, and genuine acceptance. "I am sorry you are unhappy, Jessica. But I found my closure long ago. Sophia and I have built something real together. Something based on mutual respect and genuine compatibility, not external expectations." Her expression hardened. "She cannot possibly understand you like I do. We have history. 4 years, Ryan. And in those 4 years you never really saw me. Sophia saw more in 4 minutes." I stepped back. "I wish you happiness, Jessica. I truly do. But it needs to be with someone else." Her face flushed with anger and embarrassment. "You have changed." "Yes." I agreed. "That is exactly the point." I returned to Sophia, feeling an unexpected sense of peace. When she asked about the conversation, I shared it honestly. "She seems unhappy and regretful," I explained. She suggested meeting privately for closure. Sophia listened, without jealousy or insecurity. "How did that make you feel?" "Grateful," I said simply. Grateful that what I thought was heartbreak was actually redirection to where I was supposed to be. We danced together as the evening wound down, moving in perfect synchrony. Later, my phone buzzed with text messages from Jessica, increasingly desperate and bitter. I silenced the notifications without reading them. The next morning, I took Sophia to our favorite hiking trail that overlooked the city. As the sun rose over the horizon, I got down on one knee and presented the ring I had carefully chosen, so different from the one I had once saved for Jessica. "Sophia Martinez, you helped me rebuild not just my career, but my heart. You showed me what real partnership feels like. Would you do me the honor of continuing this journey as my wife?" Tears filled her eyes as she nodded. "Yes. 1,000 times yes." As I slipped the ring onto her finger, I reflected on the strange path that led me here. Jessica's rejection had felt like the end of my world. Instead, it was the beginning of a far better one than I could have imagined. Have you ever dodged a bullet in disguise? Share your story in the comments below. Subscribe if you believe that sometimes life's biggest disappointments lead to your greatest blessings. Like this video if you found meaning in my journey, and share it with someone who might need to hear that rejection is often protection. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that your worth is not determined by those who failed to see it. True happiness comes when you stop chasing those who left and start appreciating those who stay.